craziest part, at my dad's funeral,
He
people
lost
asked
his
why.
leg.
People said either your mother must have been exhausted or there are 3 legs in that coffin. And I was like, so my grandparents used to live in Florida. Old Jews, you know, they all migrate. My grandparents used to live in Florida. I don't have any of those left, but it was cool when I did. But they lived in Florida. Then my dad got really sick in 2012. Okay. And then who used to, by the way, and I say this with love for you because I know you're from Florida. Mm-hmm. My dad always hated Florida. But he got, I know, what? Huh? But he got sick and just changed his mind and goes, well, I got to be near, because he came down with pancreatic cancer. He's like, I've got to be near family. I got to go to Florida. And I'm like, what happened? Florida. Okay, sure. So him and my mom moved down to Florida, and he, you know, lived out his days there.
Did you already know he had pancreatic cancer, or did he tell you both at the same time?
He shared,
because the way you said that, I thought he was burying the pancreatic cancer in the move to Florida. But
here's funny. He said both at the same time, and he goes, do you have anything to say? And I was like, Florida? The fuck? He's like, we're moving there. I'm like, the fuck you are? No. Yeah, no. I knew he had pancreatic cancer.
Did you know what a pancreas was before?
Can I be honest with you? I had heard of it. I didn't fully know the functions. And I was the person who was just like, oh, I mean, yeah, pancreatic cancer. It's like really bad, but like, he seems fine.
Yeah.
He's going to crush it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I had a naivete that I think you maybe need to have with a family member with cancer.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, it doesn't pan out when you do that and then they die and then you get surprised.
Right.
You're just like, what?
Yeah.
He died? They're like, yeah, he was like stage 3. I'm like, yeah, but how many stages could there be? They're like 4. There's 4.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay. Probably should have seen it.
Was he seeing doctors in Florida?
Yeah. He was at Delray. I think it's Delray Hospital.
Something.
I gotta tell you, yeah. I mean, you know, I walked into Delray Hospital and I was just like, how much death is in one place? It was just intense.
What'd they say? You asked the nurses and everyone?
I brought a mic.
Let me ask you guys.
I brought a mic plugged into a little lamp. And I said, let me ask you. So I got a question. So you in the front. How much death is in the hospital? And she goes, me? And I go, yeah. How long you been dating? And she was like, I'm here to see my husband. I was like, cool. What about that guy next to you? She goes, he's my caretaker. I was like, all right. Tough crowd. By the way, we need to get to this tea. We haven't introduced the tea yet. So our listeners steep with us at home. So for those that are steeping with us at home, today we are drinking Blackberry Blizzard. It is a David's tea, even though Josh and Matt are having it, but it's David's tea. And it's herbal. And so we did it at boiling for, I think, 7 minutes. Wow. Where are you at with it? Yum.
I love it.
Yeah, there you go.
A
convert.
Yeah. Can I be candid with you?
I prefer that you are.
I don't know what steeping means.
Who does? So the way that like any tea works, but especially loose leaf, which is what we're drinking, is you are putting it into the water, and the water is extracting all the flavors or scents. You know how a lot of people are like, oh, taste notes of this and what have you. The hot water, you leave it in the hot water, it pulls out and extracts that flavor, those notes. If you're having like proper tea, so we're having what is called a tisane because there's actually no tea leaves in it. This is like a fruity tea. Okay. But if you're having tea leaves, when you're putting them in that tea, the leaves unfurl if they're really
fun.
Yeah. And that brings out a lot of the flavor.
Oh.
So that's why, like,
do you kind of watch it? Can you see it, or
like you can? It's like not that exciting. Like I've watched it.
It sounds thrilling.
I thought it was good. I thought it was gonna be cool. It is interesting. You can get these tea balls or tea like pucks. It kind of like looks like that, and that's fun to watch because when that
it's
unfurls,
like a testicle.
Yeah, it's like a nudie. What do they call the artificial testicles? The guys who get their testicle removed called a nudicle.
I'm learning so much today. Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know.
That would be. That sounds sure.
You just know everyone listening at home is yelling at their phone like, "Of course it's a nudicle." You know? I'm like, but yeah, it looks like. It looks like that, and you put it in the water, and it unfurls, and you get a bunch of leaves.
Okay.
If you would ask me before this, like, where did I see this conversation going? Fake testicles being compared to tea leaves was not where I saw us going.
It's I mean, because we did pancreatic cancer.
You have to.
And then that, I think, flows pretty quick into.
I'm not. Yeah, I think that's fair. So you never drink tea. Not a big tea drinker.
I'll have it occasionally, only at a friend's house who says, "Do you want tea?" And it'll generally be at night.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, "Can I have decaf?" So I wonder if I've ever. I don't think I've ever had tea with caffeine in it because that's the only time I've ever had any.
You a coffee drinker?
Yes.
Okay, fair.
But not at at night.
I trust me. Listen, I've had coffee in the afternoon. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the people when you go out to a meal, who at dessert they go coffee or tea, and the people go, yeah, can I have a coffee? I'm
like it's nothing.
I'm like, what the fuck?
It's nothing.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you fight crime at night? What
Seriously,
are you doing with that?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Do you sleep well? You a good sleeper?
It's wild. I aspire to be that though.
Okay,
someday.
so you're not a good sleeper.
No. To be someone who has coffee and then 30 minutes later is asleep.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
No way.
I do 2 shots of espresso in the morning, and then I have a tea in the afternoon, and maybe like an herbal tea at night. But like I'm not, streamlining or mainlining coffee at like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Wait, but were you saying no to when I asked you if you're a good sleeper? Are you not?
I'm a pretty good sleeper. I'm good at falling asleep. I always wake up once in the middle of the night.
Sure.
And that is when that makes or breaks it, whether I fall back asleep.
I find it weird when I see you do that, and I'm always just like, does he see me?
Yeah. I try not to look at you.
Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes the fun out for me, and I definitely can't finish if you do.
Because you're slurping.
yeah, slurping tea.
The decaf. Yeah.
My hot take of all hot takes is like the worst part of being in a relationship is sharing a bed.
Absolutely.
You're on that.
Yeah.
So if you approached your wife and said, same bedroom, separate beds, is she on board or no?
She would say, let's get a bigger house to have a bigger room.
Yep.
And then so I would do all that to have the maybe, and then she would say, I don't think this works. The bed thing. But
I thought you meant the whole relationship.
Yeah.
I don't think this
that
works.
too. She'd throw that in at the
Yeah,
end.
because it's so funny. What you just described is what happened to me. I was like, same room, different beds. And she was like, maybe in a bigger bedroom.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do we make this thing bigger? And she's like, in another place. And I'm like, what do you think about like really, really south, like really like Mexico? You can't, not to make this about housing, but like Jesus Christ, I'm like, how can I get a big enough bedroom for 2 beds? Not in LA, that's for goddamn sure.
Stuff's cheap here, man. Stuff is so plentiful and cheap. That's what I always say. Yeah.
Well, the part of me was like, man, you had it good when you were splitting time between Florida and and California. You could have just claimed you're in Florida 90 days of the year and be like, I'm Florida, Texas.
I've done that sometimes. Yeah.
Can I do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as are you good with like tax fraud? Are you good with that?
I'm not good at it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But are you comfortable committing it?
I think I could get. How much am I say? I could get comfortable. Do you consider that like on your list of crimes? Right.
Of that I've done, or
oh, well, let's revisit that.
Okay.
Is that list long?
Oh, we don't. How long is?
Yeah. Do we have the time?
Can we do a caffeine one?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Listen, I'm gonna kick us up with some black tea. Let's party. I feel like on the list of crimes I'm willing to commit, like okay. If I'm thinking about the lowest, what is tier 0? Tier 0 to me is a right turn on red when it says no right on red.
Yeah, because that's more you're putting yourself in danger.
Correct.
Yeah.
I saw a cop do that today.
Not surprised.
Not even a turn signal.
No.
Yeah. And I just like leaned up when I shut it. I was like, you legend. You are a legend, my guy. But to me, that's a 0. And if we're thinking 10 is like a triple homicide, or 100, I guess, is a triple homicide, what have you. I feel like tax fraud is like a 8 out of 100.
Yeah.
Am I thinking it's too low?
No, I think that's right about where it is. I mean, who's the victim? there? The Treasury Department?
Yeah, the IRS. I've never met someone from the IRS and thought, you deserve more of my money.
I mean, what's that trial? Like, are they showing the
Nuremberg
jury?
trials.
Yes,
that's a segment we do called "What's That Trial?"
I was gonna say, what would that trial be like? The prosecutor is trying to paint the picture of a victim there, and they're just showing the Treasury Department printing money. Otherwise, they're like, we didn't collect this from Josh, and we had to print.
We had to print extra.
$2,000 over here.
Yeah, there's one guy who's like, I was late for my dinner with Janine. I had to print a bunch of extra bills. He shorted us $800. Dick. Yeah, it's tough.
But yeah, the Nuremberg deal was.
Yeah, you have thoughts on that?
It was pretty good. That I like that one and the O.J. Simpson one.
Those are your favorite trials?
Yeah. Those
okay. Yeah. That's interesting. One of my favorite trials. I would say the most recent Karen Reed. That was a tight trial.
Karen Reed?
I think wasn't that who it was? Where it was the husband. Like her and her husband went to a party, and then she went home early, and then her husband never came home. And the next morning, she drives to go find out where he is, and he's dead in the front yard of the house where he had been going to the party at.
Okay.
And then the trial revealed all kinds of story inconsistencies with every witness, and you're just like, who did it here?
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and then someone from the back stood up and yelled, "Matt Durndak," as loud as possible. And I thought that was nuts.
And you jumped right to my worst crime. We didn't even have time to get into it.
Yeah. Murdering Karen Reed's husband.
Yeah.
I don't know what my favorite trial is.
Deserved it?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
I didn't know the guy. So if you
I
say
didn't
so.
either, but he just seemed like a jerk.
You know what's interesting? Are you actually? I know the answer. You're not on TikTok because I couldn't find you there.
I'm not. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're missing out?
Sure, but I also feel like I'm missing out on a lot of things in life, and not in a bad way though.
Oh.
I think we have to choose what we miss out on. And
what are you missing out on?
I got a long list of movies I need to watch. I don't watch a lot of movies.
Why?
But I aspire to.
Okay.
It's just a real commitment. Oh, here's the real problem. I don't know where this started or why this happens, but when I'm sitting and not eating or doing anything else and watching something, so I'm just sitting, just watching, fall asleep.
How many hours of sleep are you getting in a night?
I do think I'm getting enough. I just don't know. I think I've spent so much of my life growing up eating in front of a TV.
Okay.
Which is a healthy way to do it. You don't want to eat with your family or anything.
No.
And
I had dinner at this coffee table.
Yeah. It's perfect. I'm 20 minutes into most movies.
They're like, so you won't finish. You'll go 20 minutes deep. So
just try something else.
If you were to just throw out a few movies where you're like, I should have seen this. I'm trying to make a point to see it. Where would you start?
Okay. The Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, well, that's long, but yeah, okay.
It doesn't matter how long they are.
Yeah.
If they're longer than 20 minutes,
you're out.
I haven't finished them. Gosh, I have actual lists. I have 100 movies on my list that people say you got to see it, and then I never see it.
If you start one, let's say you and I are hanging out one night and we decide to watch a movie, am I finishing it? Are you go ahead and finish it, or do you go, hey, if I fall asleep, just pause it?
You finish it,
okay,
and I sleep.
It's interesting, and I wonder if you're the same way. If I'm not, and movies do this for me, so that's maybe where we're different. If I'm not being intellectually stimulated, I will start falling asleep.
Yeah.
No matter how much coffee I've had, if you put me in let's say I have 3 shots of espresso, and then you put me into a lecture about construction, I will fall asleep immediately. But for some reason, if it's a movie, I can stay awake.
I think part of it is because I trust that I don't need to fix anything when I'm watching a movie. So I trust that these people have made something good, and I don't need to do anything. It sort of allows me to check out.
Okay.
I think, honestly, if they're bad, I'm more inclined to be like, well, that's dumb. Why'd they do that?
That'll
and I don't
keep
know
you
anything about movie making. But
sure.
But if it's good, I'm like, this is good. They've done good work. I can
safe.
relax. Yes.
You know what? I like want to sit here and tell you you're crazy. When Jess and I watch bad movies, we're much more engaged
See?
because we'll say things. We'll like Mystery Science 3000, a movie, you know? We watched a movie called Game of Death. And this movie, are you cool with like a like slightly a horror movie?
I mean, I'm cool with them being in the world. I don't watch them.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't.
First 20 minutes aren't usually that scary.
Oh, that's a good point.
Gotcha.
I could do all of them.
So we're watching Game of Death, and the way the Game of Death works, and this is no exaggeration, I'm still shocked this movie was made. These like you know like druggy drunk party teens are all like hanging out, you know, at a house party, and they find this board game.
Okay.
And the way the board game works is that it ends up like being haunted, and they need to commit a murder every hour for 24 hours.
Okay.
Or one of the teens playing the game will be murdered. This is the stupidest movie I think I've seen in my life.
It doesn't sound stupid at all.
It was so terrible.
Yeah.
Like I can't stress enough how bad it was. But Jess and I were fully engaged. Like we're watching this and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? She goes, I don't know. And we're just, I couldn't take my eyes off the thing.
Yeah, you're not falling asleep. If a
was-
head's about to blow up.
No,
Yeah.
I came close to falling asleep multiple times during the movie Long Legs recently, which was like some famous horror movie that came out with Nick Cage. I was bored out of my brain during Oppenheimer, but you put on Game of Death, and I'm fucking there.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this hellscape of a movie? I'm in.
I might watch that.
Game of Death, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna be able to make it through.
Okay.
Well, I guess that would be
That
par
would be more
for the
engaging.
course.
Though. Yeah.
Do you? So you don't watch a lot of movies generally, and so when you and your partner are hanging out, what are you doing?
Well, we will turn on movies.
Oh, do you turn on a lot of movies?
I don't make it to the end though.
Do you exert any opinion on what the movie is you're gonna watch?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
Of course.
You gotta.
Yeah.
Jess does that. I don't understand it. Jess will be like, oh, I'm feeling really tired, but we can watch a movie. I'm like, okay. I'm like, what if we did this? She goes, I don't want to see that. I'm like, you're gonna be asleep in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Why does it matter?
Yeah.
She goes, well, for those 10 minutes, I don't want to watch something I don't want to see.
Yeah, and then it's in your brain for the sleep.
I said to her, what if we put something on for the first 10, then I flip over?
Hey, why do you even need to ask?
I guess I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Also, then you could bring in another bed.
There, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bring another bed. Yeah. There have been times in our old apartment where she would fall asleep on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me, she's like, just like leave me here. I'll like when I wake up, I'll come in. I'm like, are you sure? And eventually I started waking her up and just bringing her back into the bedroom. But for those a couple times, I was like, my own bed. It's just nice. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. How many nights of the week are you out doing comedy?
In 2024,
in the what is it? The Lord's, what's that phrase?
in
the year of the Lord.
Lord.
In the year of the Lord, yeah.
Not enough. Not enough. I mean, there was a time in my young life where it was every night, all night.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely fewer now. I mean, I'll go days where I'll be like, oh, I haven't even considered doing stand, and I forgot. Where like yeah,
it's a problem.
Mm-hmm. How about what do you?
I'm similar.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get better.
Mm-hmm.
I think like planning the wedding was terrible.
Oh gosh.
Like, so I'm like happy to move that off my plate.
Yeah.
I think I'm at the age in my comedy career now where like, okay, let's say, for example, you're like, hey, Josh, you're going to go hit this mic. You don't know who's going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how long it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, I don't know about that. But if you said to me, oh, like if someone were like, hey, like, Durndak and like Nick Tarvella are going to be there, I'd be like, yeah, I'll fucking go. Where's the mic? Like, I'm not gonna, like, I'll go to North Hollywood for that. Sure. Yeah. It's much more like dependent on if I know I'm going to have a semi-decent time.
Got it. Yeah. And do you like, I do appreciate the slotted format. I know that it has its critics, but I like
Guaranteed.
I don't know who's going to, well, actually you do know who's going to be there potentially if you look at, but also, just it's starting here, it ends here. It's not the all night thing. Yeah.
I don't like paying to do comedy. Like that does bother me, but the idea of it being regimented and scheduled, I don't hate.
Would you say that makes you feel like less of a professional when you pay to do stand up?
I mean, my anxiety is doing that on its own. I don't whether I pay or not, you know. But yeah, maybe a little bit. When people ask me what my ultimate dream is, I always tell people it's to be able to do stand up where I want, when I want.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So like if I'm, fucking by the store or something, I'm like, yo, can I do a 15-minute drop in? They're like, yeah, no problem. Or if I'm in like, Akron, Ohio, and I'm like, hey, I want to do 15 minutes, go to the local club. They're like, oh yeah, Lanzac, come on in. I just want to be able to do that where I want, when I want. And so yeah, sometimes I think it like irks me a smidge.
Yeah.
When I'm like, yeah, let me give you money to make you laugh.
Yeah.
Hard. But then don't we pay that? Like even when I'm doing clubs, they don't pay me enough that like I'm making up for the gas money and like having a place to stay.
Yeah. No, if someone was like, you'll never be anything, and you have to do open mics in Los Angeles or slotted mics even for the rest of your life, I would still keep doing those.
You love the slotteds.
I just love. There's something about LA open mics where I'm serious.
I'm interested.
Where there's just you show up. It's people. Maybe you don't know anyone who's there, and some kid just got off the bus from Oklahoma City,
near Akron,
right next to Akron,
next door.
And maybe he's funny, maybe he's not, but it's going to be over in a few minutes either way.
Sure.
And someone's got a clown costume. It's just something about it. I kind of love it.
I love when you have what I would call the open mic all-stars. So you run into those wackadoodles.
Yeah.
Like Leisure Suit Larry or like Ohio Dave.
Love them.
You know these guys. Like
I think he killed himself.
Ohio Dave?
Yeah. Is he a real person?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was like, Jesus. I was like, what?
I thought you were making up.
Can I tell you?
I'm sorry. Oh.
No. Can I tell you something, though? This is horrible. One of the former open mic all-stars did throw himself in front of a train during the pandemic.
Wow.
I know. And I was just like, do you know how many sets of his I had to sit through? You couldn't have done that sooner.
And it's an interesting phrase, throw yourself in front. I'm sure someone has done a bit on this.
I appreciate
before,
you not laughing at all at that. It made me feel real bad. You're like, so you wanted him to die. But what's interesting,
as any good podcast guest would do, was more thinking about my joke. And
sure. Go ahead.
Wasn't being generous to yours.
And you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Didn't deserve it.
Right.
Go ahead. So you're saying it's weird the phrase throw.
Yours was better, and I should have just let that be the star of this part of the podcast.
I have people on just to make my own jokes. You're just here.
You've written some things for me?
I didn't want to tell you that.
Okay.
I've prepared some responses.
Okay.
So I have a line, and then you go, you don't say.
You don't say.
And then I come in with the punchline.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. That's
Do you
later.
have one of those Oh yeah, there is the light over the laugh. Laughter.
It's for the guest.
Yeah.
Just so they know, like, hey, make it look like you're having fun.
Smile.
We have that light was way too long. Yeah. So we got rid of that.
All right. Well, who else has killed themselves?
Oh gosh, tough. Got to think about that. Sometimes I wonder if there's anyone in my high school that did that I just didn't hear about. How big was your high school?
It was pretty big. It was like four grades, it was probably like 2,000 people. So like the graduating class was like, I don't know, 400 or 500.
400 or 500?
Yeah.
I think mine was like 300.
Yeah.
So like it's not a boatload, but it's enough that like if someone chose to go into that good night by their own free will, I might not know that.
Oh yeah. One or two have killed themselves.
Oh.
You can feel confident of that. I'm saying yours.
Oh, for mine.
Sure.
I thought you were talking about yours.
No, well, I'm sure as well. I'm confident that I don't know and that it's happened.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, given your lack of social presence online, if people thought you had.
Yeah. I thought about it.
You what?
No, I haven't. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
I'm like, I gotta fucking. We're gonna have to now have that thing on the bottom, where it says like, and if you're experiencing any trouble, call this number. By the way, are you ready for the first segment?
I was gonna ask when we would do the first segment.
Were you going to ask that?
Yeah.
Okay. When were you going to ask that? Like a while ago? Were you waiting for it?
I just wanted to make sure we touched on suicide, and then
sure.
I was going to ask. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, stick around for the segment after that. I can't tell you what to do with yourself. The first segment is called the Newly Friend Game. It's like the Newlywed Game, but we're friends. The way that it works is I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to write down your answer. Don't say it out loud. I'm going to write down what I think your answer is going to be. And then we will flip our boards and see if we got the same answer. So I'm trying to guess what you're writing down.
Okay.
So what a lot of people don't know is that we do research on all of our guests. And yeah, really get the ASMR going for that. We do research on all of our guests. You have one singular fact available online. One, no others. Yes. The singular fact that you had online is that you like chicken wings.
Love.
Yeah, and which I believe.
Which isn't even, I think it says love online. It's I don't know why I even put that. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that clarity. And we're going to issue a release after this because we've been touting that on your behalf.
Okay.
So here's my question for you, and it's based on that sole fact I had about you. If you had to pick, what is the most overrated appetizer that regularly shows up on menus? Now, again, don't say it out loud. Write it down. 1, 2, 3, flip. You said onion rings. I said garlic bread. Walk me through the onion rings. What's your story here?
I hate fried food.
What?
And you would say, well, Matt, aren't chicken wings...
They are fried most of the time.
They're basically fried, but I should say breaded and fried.
Well, a lot of times chicken wings have a little mix put on them.
Don't come at me with that.
Okay.
Though. I'm not saying you. I'm saying in the scene where you're a waiter.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me, server.
Yeah. I worked at Applebee's.
Me too.
Yeah. Do you work at Applebee's?
Not at Applebee's.
Damn it.
At a competitor in the local mall.
Okay. Is the server's coming up to you in this story? You're saying, don't come at me with that.
Yeah.
Did you serve onion rings at that restaurant?
We did, now that I think about it. And those weren't horrible.
Do you like French fries?
Can we start over? I do. Well, I like sweet potato fries. Don't like the normie fries.
First off, that is shocking to me. I do not like the sweet potato fries. I like the normal fries. But I was gonna say, what do you like the ones that like they kind of like spice up? They add a little bit of coating to it. You don't like those?
The fries or the onion rings? No, I don't like any of that.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. I put garlic bread because to me, sometimes if you ever order garlic bread and it's very clear, they like have like day old like hamburger buns in the back and they're like, oh, what do we do with these?
That is what they do.
And then it's like awful.
Because parts of it will be real soft and then it'll sneak up on you, the crazy hard part. Yeah,
I chipped a tooth once. I was just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, let's do the same question.
That's a good one. I could go with garlic. I mean, can I...
Can you cross it out?
Garlic bread, yeah.
Well, we're about to do the same question for me. So now you're going to have to figure out what I'm going to say. Okay? So same question for me. What is my most overrated appetizer? Okay? So you got to, think, what is this awful man going to write? I was going to put pancreatic cancer fries, but I'm not... Not putting that.
When you hear that phrase, what does that
make me think of?
Yeah.
Pancreatic cancer fries?
Yeah.
Kind of just like fries with a bunch of bumps on them, like that.
Do you picture the pancreas because now you know so much about it?
Can I tell you the honest truth? So I was dating a girl.
Lie to me.
Okay. I was dating a monster. and I was dating her right around when I found out my dad had pancreatic cancer. And it was so nice. This was so nice. She bought me 2 pancreatic cancer books that she like read through and like had highlighted things. I never opened either of them.
That was sweet though.
It was so nice.
Did you read the back the blurbs?
I don't know if she
where it's like Dr. Whatever knows so much about pancreatic cancer. This book's awesome.
No. The worst part, I don't know if she wrote something inside the books. I think I gave them away. What am I gonna do with those? Yeah. What why are we focusing on the past? It's like that's like reading a book about World War I. All right, so you ready to flip report on 3? 1, 2, 3, flip. That's a phenomenal. Your answer is better than mine. So Matt said stuffed mushrooms. I said chips and salsa. The reason I said chips and salsa is because like if you're gonna get chips and salsa, why not get like chips and queso? Why not get like chips and guac? Like,
yeah.
why not get me a little more fun? Why not do the thing where if you get the chips, they do guac, sour cream, and pico? Like, to me, chips and salsa is just lazy. There's so many things you could do.
It kind of goes in line with the garlic bread though, because I bet salsa's it's a little bit of whatever the vegetables, right?
Most of the time.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, can you get the paste, the old El Paso?
Yeah.
You know? What made you think about stuffed mushrooms? You don't see them a lot, but I do agree that they're overrated.
It just I was playing the numbers there. I figure it's just an offensive appetizer to a high percentage of the population. I ordered a lot, and I end up being the only one who eats it.
I would eat it.
So I think that makes me think that but other people eat the other things at the table. So that makes me think that other people clearly don't like it at least as much as I do. So
yeah, there are very few things that I'm just like, I don't even want a little piece of that.
Yeah.
Like I'll eat like Frickles, If someone's ordering that, I'm like, sure, I'll have one or two of those. I like pickles, but like, do you need to fry them? What's the point?
You don't need to fry anything. What
would you do at a state fair? I feel like you'd have a lot of trouble.
I just do the one that you spin around and you're stuck to the.
Oh my gosh! I just had a conversation with someone about that literally like last week.
What is that called? The something-atron.
That's what it is.
The something-atron.
The something-atron.
Yeah.
Because what they say is we wanted to name it that so your imagination can fill that in.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's fun. And it's easier to come up with something after you've been
fucking spinning.
Yeah.
I do remember that like one time I was on that ride and I thought to myself, man, what if this thing just fucking broke and like fucking launched me? Because those things are not like, think about all the things in our lives that are super well regulated. Carnival rides are not on that list.
There was the one that, I don't know which one this is. It's where, or maybe it's like the pirate ship.
The thingamabob.
It's yes. I think it's like a pirate ship, right? And then it's an arm that goes in a circle, but the ship is level, but it goes in a circle like this. And then there's a big weight, obviously, at the bottom, right? Something with the supports, and this thing starts going like this, but everyone's still going. A bunch of men come in like.
I remember seeing a clip of this
I'm
online.
sure you've seen it. Yeah.
By the way, I have to ask this, not to like a really hard pivot, but I'm hard pivoting a little bit.
Pivot.
I like to feel like I know you somewhat well.
Yeah.
Then I was watching one of your clips. Was that like tumor on your brainstem thing true?
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be a weird one to make up.
Well.
And I make up a lot of...
Which I think you're entitled to.
Yeah.
I remember when I saw you get on stage, you said your father was George Washington. And I thought that was the timelines what didn't work for me.
That's a basic name.
Yeah, sure. Oh, so you just meant generally.
Which one.
Yeah, okay. Got it. Yeah.
Different last name than me, though. That would be the weirdest part.
Well, yeah. I think you didn't want to be a Nepo baby. You didn't want everyone to be like, oh, look, it's George Washington's kid.
No, I can't take that heat.
Yeah, but then people are going to mix you up with the famous John Durndak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually my dad's first name.
No, it's not.
I swear to God. My middle name is John.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. But they were just like, we need to really go right down the barrel for like this. We don't want to give him anything that might even be remotely non-white. So we're going to give him Matthew,
just
John,
apostles or whatever they're called.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think they're apostles.
This is a religious podcast,
It is now.
Okay.
Yeah. I just found out there's a streaming service that's exclusively for people of faith. And I read that. That was kind of like the tagline. I thought to myself, I was like, well, I have faith in certain things.
Yeah.
I have faith in my ability to ruin a family dinner. Like, what? Can I watch this channel?
For sure.
I should.
Yeah.
Interesting. Your father's name is John. But going back to the other thing. Wait, so when did that happen? When did the tumor thing? Did I know you at this point?
Yeah, you would have known me at that point. I have like obviously a chunk on it. Why else would you have a brain tumor?
Thick chunk. Yeah. Why else get a brain tumor other than to do stand up about it? Yeah. I have 15 minutes on my dad's death. I'm with you.
Exactly. I would have. Yeah.
Yeah. On the anniversary of his death, I closed my eyes and spoke to him, and I said, "You couldn't give me 20." So okay.
How much time?
Go ahead.
How much time did you have with him? You said once he said, "I'm going to Florida and pancreatic cancer."
Yeah. It was weird that he whispered the second part. First part he said so loud,
Florida,
and he doubled down. He goes, "Going to Florida." Sorry, we're going to Florida. He yelled it, and then whisper so quiet. An ant would have said it. He's like, and I was like, huh? You what? How much time do we have? He got that diagnosis sometime in 2012. He passed away in May of 2014. So I was about a year and change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have given you a little more time because you need like
curious.
6 months per 5 minutes. I would say.
Yeah. That is what they.
That's the classic. The doctors probably say, get your affairs in order, and also, do you have any comics in the family?
He did.
And then they'll be like, all right, get the chart? It's 6 months per 5 minutes. Just because your son will ask.
What's interesting is at the funeral home.
Mm-hmm.
We were like getting all we're doing the business of death. I don't know if anyone close to you has ever died, but what a pain.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the funeral home and the guy's like, I'm so sorry. And
So like, how much time you want to do?
so he turns to me and he goes, do you have kind of a rough outline of a set?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I mean, how much time do you need? You know? He goes, we just need 7 minutes on the Goodman funeral. It's over there. Yeah, things are a little dark there. They're like, we couldn't find his right leg. We as we were prepping him, so we just need someone to come in with some levity. You know, it's like a rough outline.
He's been dead for 3 days, and they lost the leg.
They lost the leg.
He's decomposing at a real fast rate.
Craziest part at my dad's funeral,
People
lost
asked
his
why.
leg. People said either your mother must have been exhausted or there are 3 legs in that coffin. And I was like, yeah, I don't know how it got there. It did. It's I gotta tell you,
Was it a open casket?
he was cremated.
Nude open
he was-
casket.
He was 100% cremated. Oh God! Which is why when we knew there was a 3rd leg, because it was just overflowing.
Because that dust
Yeah,
of that
Thick.
is
girthy.
different.
Okay, so wait, I knew you when this happened. Is this when you? So there was one time we were talking. And you go, I said, yeah, I thought you moved to Florida. You go, no, I was just like there for a bunch, but I'm back now. Was that a yada-ing the tumor?
No. I had the brain tumor like 2011.
I didn't know you then. I wasn't here in 2011.
Yeah. I wasn't even doing stand up, which
Oh.
is I feel like I could have gotten a lot more out of it because I
Could've
would have
gotten on
been
Ellen.
writing stuff down while it's happening and gotten on Ellen.
For sure.
Yeah. She's nice to people, right?
Go on.
But yeah. But what I was going to say was whenever I first wrote jokes about it, it was 5 years before.
Mm-hmm.
So now whenever I say I had a brain tumor, in perpetuity, it's 5 years ago I had a brain tumor.
Sure.
And it's always been 5 years ago.
I will find the nearest year that makes sense for my dad. So I'd be like, so I was like, my dad died a couple years ago, or that's what I would say until it was 5 years. I was like, so 5 years ago, my dad died.
Yeah.
And then this year is 10. So I was like, 10 years ago, my dad died. It's the same way that like my mother just turned 74.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a joke about how her and I were we're dating at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Different people?
No.
Okay.
And she was 69. And I was like, she's 69. Ugh. I hate, excuse me. And I was like, I want to tell people she's 70, but my sister was like, that's a lie. So here she is. My mom is a sex physician. And I would like tell that joke. And I kept her 69 for like 3 years. And then I was like,
yeah.
I kind of can't keep.
It'll be great.
Can't
You'll be
keep
late
pushing it.
50s.
Yeah.
Tone
I just
on.
keep reversing her age. She's Benjamin Button in my jokes. I'm like, I remember talking to my mom. She's 41. And people are just like, how old are you?
Did your mom like that joke? She comes to all your shows?
I think she's never seen me do stand up.
Oh, good. Yeah, mine neither.
Not
yeah,
once.
Yeah.
You really?
Yeah.
Do you want them to?
No.
Okay.
No, why would you want that? You don't want that.
I don't care.
Oh, okay. You're
I
fine
would
with
like
it.
her to
Yeah.
see me crush.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing.
If I'm in a bomb, don't show up.
Yeah. That's why I hate like friends from childhood who have never seen. It's such a risk.
I don't care for that.
Yeah.
I used to do a joke where I talked about a girl that I had a crush on when I was a kid, and posted.
She came to.
She didn't come to the show. Posted the clip. The clip picked up a little more than I thought it would.
Oh no.
And she started following me, and I was
Right
like,
at the same.
"Yeah, I mean, she's married with kids." I was
Was
like,
it clear that it was her?
"Yes."
Because you said Jody McSweeney, and
You
Is that-
knew Jody? How the fuck? Because Jody was a bit of like, an indoorsy girl. We all, we said she was touched. If you know what I mean, a little. Yeah.
Okay.
But you knew Jody.
Yeah, very well.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting.
How old is she now? 69?
No, 81.
Oh, okay.
She was older than me. She was the librarian when I was going to school.
Has she had pancreatic cancer?
She beat it.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, because here's the thing: when I gave away those books, she picked them up
And read how to beat it.
Jody McSweeney.
Yeah.
She was like, "Why is this woman Angela writing love notes between the pages?" I was like, couldn't tell you. Also now married with a kid.
Oh.
I'm good luck Chuck, I think.
You really are.
Yeah, everyone's married with a kid.
Yeah.
Dated you, boom, you're married. You
Yeah,
had
yeah,
7
yeah.
kids. So you only got how many minutes did you get out of the tumor? 10?
Are we in like LA, New York, or are we in Middle America?
Both.
Much fewer in LA, New York, or
Sure.
certain.
Tight set o'clock over here. Yeah.
Well, more just because I have freedom to do some real basic stuff.
Mm.
If
You're
you're
like,
not in LA or New York.
Someone said to me the other day, I look like a wind-up toy from, the supermarket. But
And I do that in the middle of the brain tumor chunk.
Yeah.
And it works fine in Omaha. Yeah,
as it should. You should be like, I lost 15 pounds. They're like, oh, you're like, when I got a tumor cut out of my head.
And I got divorced. You just do the actual old hack.
The number of times I've heard that joke. Here's what's funny. You don't hear it
It never
now.
gets old, though.
I don't.
So good.
I hear it on the road.
You thought for a second I really liked it when I first said that it never
I was
gets
a
old.
little like, huh? I hear it on the road so often.
Yeah.
I think that's the most hack joke I hear with regularity.
People love it, though.
Do they? Other than you. You love it.
I genuinely love it. How great is it when you're in the middle of nowhere doing a show and there is like an old-timey guy getting up, doing street jokes, and murdering?
I can't. Someone
Before
got up.
you. And then and then you're gonna get up. LA therapy. I'm not saying you, but
I literally do jokes about that, Matt. Go fuck yourself.
LA therapy.
Some guy got up before me. This was like years ago, and just gets up. He was wearing a suit, and he goes, "Can't get no respect." And I was like, I was like, this guy had a lot of jokes about his wife, and I was just like, I think his name was Randy Dongerman. I don't know.
It was Dongerman.
It's Dongerman, yeah, for sure. He's making those jokes. No, I did have a guy once who I waited. You know how like
Waited on?
Yeah, yeah. I waited on Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah, at
Who's that?
Applebee's. It's a friend.
Okay.
Yeah, I met him in Temple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You ever notice when you go to bigger cities, like if you're on one of those shows, like it's at like a B club in the city,
Mm-hmm.
and they just like, oh, we're doing a run of just like 99 people. We're gonna get you up in the middle there,
The best.
and then you get bumped for what I would call the local legend.
Yeah.
I got bumped once for the local legend, and I was like, and I was just getting bumped a spot, and I was like, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Got up there and started talking about. He was like, yeah, and sometimes I've definitely thought about like, and he described graphic sex scenes with a family member, and I was just like, fuck, god damn it. And then they were like, oh, that was so funny. Coming up next, doesn't reset the room at all. Coming up next, Josh Lanzette. And I'm like, the fuck? What? And I got up and I was like, looking at him, and I was like, well, he took my joke. So I don't, that's what I was going to talk about.
I love when people, yeah. I think that's I genuinely do like when it's a few minutes of horrific something right before me. Because
Yeah.
how much time was he doing?
He was, how much was he supposed to, or what did he do? He's supposed to do like 10.
Oh,
What did he
okay.
do? Like 18?
Oh, that's a little too much. Yeah. People will get up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think people were getting so hot and bothered by the set that they were all just going and taking care of themselves in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
For sure. Were you? That was the.
For sure.
So now, whenever I say for sure and don't add value, I can pretend like I'm doing the bit.
Well, when you don't add any value, so I'd say like, 55 of the minutes of the pod. Okay, we've got to get to the lightning round. Okay, we're going to the lightning round. It is 5 fast questions. They do not at all have to be fast answers.
Am I writing?
Nothing.
Okay.
You have to write nothing.
Wow,
These are
this
the
is
last
great.
5 questions we end every episode with. I memorize them, but I like to use this because it makes me feel like a late night talk show host.
Okay.
I see that you're unamazed by the idea of me doing late night, which is upsetting.
What? You're gonna do late night?
Well, I'm going to be a host. Yeah. I'm going to host.
What? You're gonna be a host?
Yeah. It's going to be called Lanzette as of late.
I love that.
Trying it out, workshopping.
Who will you take over for?
Some straight white guy whose name starts with a J.
Yeah, that's a tough. I don't know.
Sam B. Is she still on?
Yes.
Okay, her.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Question 1. What is a favorite ritual of yours?
Just going to sleep. I think the
What is your ritual to go to sleep?
so it's get real hot in the shower, and then get real cold in the bed. Go sleep.
You shower. You're a night showerer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You don't shower in
just
the mo-
bring LA into your bed.
You just go out into the world without showering?
I shower for me.
What if you have like a job interview that morning? You shower?
don't.
No. Okay. What if you get married that morning? You showering?
I just haven't cut off my sideburns.
Yeah, well, you have to.
Yeah.
Did you not shower the morning of your wedding? This is I need to know.
I probably didn't shower in the morning because it was hot. I probably waited till like the after, like a couple hours before and then showered. Like, yeah, if I have something at night, most days I will kind of do a light like rinse in the afternoon if I'm like going out to do a show. I will definitely actually because I'll be like exercising. So it's kind of a light rinse.
Flip-flopping here.
Well, no, it's a legit hot full shower at night for myself to go to sleep. If I'm going out in the world and I just don't want to smell, it's the bare minimum.
I wasn't going to say anything. I think you probably could have used a rinse before you came.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Taking that feedback, take it in. Question 2. What is a running bit you have with a friend or partner that makes you laugh?
So I have several with that I don't get to do anymore because the friend died.
That is nice.
I swear to God.
Okay.
Or goodness. Swear to. Are we
swear
allowed to swear to anyone here?
I think so.
Okay.
There are not specific rules in this house, if that's what you're concerned about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There was all the paintings of.
Yep.
But we had one where my friend and I were talking to a guy in Florida, obviously, and it was like kind of a business situation, and somehow AIDS came up. The first sentence that this other guy said, not my friend, was, "My cousin died of AIDS." So I don't know. It could have been like maybe we were talking about his cousin actually,
Okay.
and then he said, "My cousin died of AIDS."
Good cleanup. Yep.
So we were like, "Oh, that's oh," and then he goes, "But it was the straight kind." So then, and then we were like, so it was like, oh. But then forever after that, any chronic disease that anyone would mention, we would always either to them if we knew them or to ourselves, was it the straight kind? So like, like if you earlier would have said your dad, what did your dad have again?
Pancreatic cancer.
Was it the straight kind?
Unfortunately not.
Oh.
That is a very good bit.
It was the best. And now I can't. I mean, we could do it. I could pick it up with someone.
Is
but
it the same?
It's not the same,
No.
and it's almost better as a memory because then he died young of a chronic disease.
Was it the straight kind?
Yeah, it was a straight.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did you speak at his funeral? Did you say that? I hope you said it.
I did, and I must have. I was the MC at the funeral. I did.
I heard you killed.
Yeah.
And I did hear you ran the light a hint.
Yeah, they didn't. They were into it.
Yeah.
I was smoking a cigarette.
And just going, can't get no respect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
Question 3. What's the most controversial opinion that you have?
I think ketchup is disgusting. And I think people who eat it should be embarrassed.
From a young age, you never ate ketchup, or as an adult, you got off the ketchup train?
from a young age, always hated breaded fried food and ketchup. I think it was something about like Florida. It was something about, I was just always, no, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ketchup? You like ketchup?
It's not my condiment of choice, but I'll eat it.
Yeah.
Like if someone has it, like if someone has French fries and they're like,
Mhm.
you know, like I've got ketchup, I'll dip a fry in some ketchup. I'll tell you this, Jess would be incredibly upset at your ketchup take.
Yeah. Big ketchup fan.
She loves ketchup. What's interesting is like if I'm having a burger, and maybe this makes me weird. If I'm having a burger, I want it with yellow mustard.
Yeah. I could do mustard.
Love mustard.
Yeah.
I also
classy.
like. You want to hear something gross that I like?
No.
This is an interesting one. You know how people mix like ketchup and mayonnaise to make like whatever like special sauce? I'll mix barbecue sauce and mayonnaise.
I could see that.
It's tasty.
Is it just ranch then?
Do those two things make ranch?
Yeah.
Not in my experience. That's great. Yeah. Hey, if you mix barbecue sauce and mayo, does that make soup? Trying to check in on that. That's potato leek, right? All right. Question 4. Have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, is there one particular moment that really sticks with you?
I don't know if this will resonate. So I dropped out of college, and I was buying and selling houses in Florida. Like I was like, oh, I'm going to be a real estate investor. You know, you like watch a course or two, right? I went through like some sort of course on how to like evaluate the construction needs of a house, right? And sort of estimate the value of it, because I was buying houses that needed repair, like a classic house flipping type of thing, right?
Sure.
So in Texas, they have a lot of foundational issues, like the soil settles and a lot of houses are on an angle. So they, as part of it, they give you a level in this like course, and they're like, use this to sort of evaluate whether the house needs foundational repair. So then I get back to Florida, and I'm in a house like evaluating it as like a 19-year-old trying to buy it, and I have a level, and I put it on the floor, and the guy I'm trying to buy it from is like, what are you doing? And I realized this was a deep cut into construction, but it was just a very I remember you asked for a moment. Please. And that moment when I'm like putting that down, and the guy it's not just imposter syndrome. I'm clearly an imposter. He's calling me an imposter.
Yeah.
That would be the biggest moment, probably. Yeah.
How long did you last in that job?
5 years.
What?
Yeah.
Matty D, 5 years.
Yeah. I stopped using the level pretty quickly.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Because everything was on the level.
Boom.
Is that one? Were you doing another bit where you don't add any value?
I said boom.
The boom.
The
boom felt condescending.
Can you say it again?
Okay. Well, I guess because everything was on the level.
Boom shakalaka.
Now that felt better. That felt like we were playing NBA Jam.
We were.
Question 5, final question. What is your favorite tea? Or if you don't really drink a lot of tea, which I know you don't, what is your favorite comfort?
I do drink coffee in the morning.
Sure. Great.
And that's comfortable, obviously. But specifically, if I want to be comfortable while I'm drinking coffee, I listen to old Todd Berry podcasts. So he doesn't even still do new ones. It's the Todd Berry podcast.
Okay.
He hasn't recorded new ones in years. So there's only like 50 of them.
Okay.
And I've listened to all of them multiple times.
They're that good.
They're Todd, I know you're a listener. They're not good. They're just soothing.
Okay.
It's the most mundane. Are you familiar with Todd Berry at all? It's very it's a lot of what are your airplane points system? What's your favorite coffee shop? Where do you go in Tulsa when you're going to that club? And just
interesting.
Yeah.
What is it about the pod that really just like soothes you?
I think I like the song leading into it.
Sure.
And like they whisper the song, and then Todd is very whispery. And there's no production value. It started, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And you can tell he doesn't want to do it, but he's doing it. And yeah, it's just I think it's mostly his voice and just his general approach to. I'll also listen to his audiobook is very similar.
You're just a big Todd Berry guy.
For these things specifically, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Great book. Thank you for coming to Hattiesburg. Are they a sponsor? We should cut that.
No. They've been that book specifically has sponsored us the whole way through this podcast.
Good.
We're almost at 100 episodes. They will not fall off as a sponsor, which is mind-blowing. We actually asked them very respectfully to, in fact, stop sponsoring the pod.
Stop sending money.
They doubled their investment.
Wow.
Yeah, they now give us $10 a season.
Amazing.
Yeah, I know. We don't know what to do with it.
Boom shakalaka.
Yeah. And what better way to close than that? That's the pod. How do you feel?
I feel steeped.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. And you didn't even know what that was at the top.
I didn't.
Can we edit in when he said that he didn't?
I don't know what steeping means.
That was Matt Durndak. You can find him on Instagram at Matt Durndak. This episode was produced by Jude Crowner. It was edited by Martin Alvarez. Our theme song and additional music are by Oliver Hymack. Our cover art was done by Neil Fraser with photography by Matt Mazisco. Social media by Dia Villegas. Please write a review and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can. You can send any questions, comments, newly friend game suggestions, or tea suggestions to steepcombos@gmail.com or tweet us at steepconvos. I'm Josh Lanzette, and you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Josh Lanzette. We'll be back next week, so until then, happy steeping.
God, I got so many kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say you put 7 or 8 into the schools in the public system. Yeah, adoption system. 9.
Who knows?
Who cares?
The Treasury cares.
Yeah, which is
Their
interesting.
support,
Yeah, you're still claiming him as dependents. There you go.
Yeah.
Tax fraud.